Hey, Q&A time, everybody. So this is the second weekly Q&A. So if you have any questions for next week's Q&A, leave them in the comment section of this video, or give them to me on Twitter, or give them to me on my Facebook profile, which you can find in the description of every video that I put out, and the main channel itself. So without further ado, let's get started. You're going to see some Halo 4 gameplay, in case you don't want to hear the Q&A, in case you don't care. There's something for you to watch. It's pretty good gameplay, I think. It's mine. But yeah, forget about that. So, yeah, let's get started. Saul Goodman from Breaking Bad has got his own spin-off series, Better Call Saul. Are there any other characters from the Breaking Bad universe that you would like to see get their own series? I would love to see a series about Bogdan. Bogdan. I don't know how interesting Bogdan would be. You know, I honestly don't want to see any more of Breaking Bad. I feel like Breaking Bad, the way it was perfect. It ended perfectly. It was it is the most perfect series that I've ever seen, and I don't want to see it ruined by anything else. So I don't know. I don't even know if I want to see Better Call Saul. I mean, obviously I'll have to wait until I see more of it and see if it's good, but I feel like spin-offs are always a bad thing. I feel like, you know, very rarely do spin-offs end up better than the original. The only thing that I can even think of is maybe Dragon Ball Z, maybe, but I don't even know if you would qualify that as a spin-off or another chapter or whatever you want to call it. But, you know, I don't know. I don't really want to see anybody. I think I'm content with how Breaking Bad was, so they fully realized every one of those characters, and I don't mind not seeing any more of them because it's perfect in itself. What is your favorite game soundtrack and why? Oh, what a painful question. I don't know if I could choose. That's such a cop-out. No, that's too much of a cop-out, so I won't do it. I will choose. God, there's so many great ones. The original Crash Bandicoots had fantastic soundtracks. The Spyro games from the original PlayStation days. Shadow of the Colossus has a fucking great soundtrack. Even Gears of War 2, specifically, Gears of War 2 had a great soundtrack. The Mega Man soundtracks are really good. God, the BioShock series. The BioShock series! Fucking with... Will this circle be unbroken? And from BioShock Infinite and oh god, everything in the first BioShock. The Dragon Ball Z Budokai soundtracks were awesome. Bastion. Bastion had a fantastic soundtrack. I don't know, if I had to, you know what, I don't think I can pick a game, I will pick a series. Because that's the only fair way I can think of doing it, and in my opinion, the Halo series has the greatest soundtrack of any series, any game that I've ever experienced. Because the first game, Halo 1, 2, and 3 had fantastic soundtracks, and then there was a non-Bungie made Halo game called Halo Wars, and even that one had a fantastic soundtrack. Halo Reach had a fantastic soundtrack. My favorite soundtrack out of all of those it's probably a tie between Halo 2 and Halo 3 ODST. Halo 3 ODST had like the jazz thing going on, and it was fucking cool. So overall, I'd say the Halo series has my favorite soundtrack of all time. All of them collectively, they're all too fucking good. What was your opinion on The Last of Us? Did you agree with the hype? You know, I really did like The Last of Us, but I didn't think it was as good as everybody said it was. The Last of Us was a great game. It was fun. It was tense. It was like probably the most tense game I ever played. It was like it was beautiful. The soundtrack was pretty good. The voice acting was phenomenal. The story could have been a little better, but the story was done really well. I really loved The Last of Us. But, you know, I don't know if I agree with the hype. I think it was a great game by a great developer. Naughty Dog is obviously really good at what they do. But, you know, there was a whole battle between, like, which one was better, BioShock Infinite or Last of Us, even though they're, like, really completely different games. But from day one, after playing both of them, I sided with BioShock, because although I felt The Last of Us was a great game, I felt like it was a great example of something that had been done before, and I didn't really get anything out of it that I didn't get out of anything else. It was just a really good game, whereas BioShock was a really good game with like a bunch of layers of awesome on it. So, yeah, I did really like The Last of Us, but I don't know if I agreed with the hype. Oh, this is incredibly fortunate. Have you ever gotten emotional over a video game? Yes. Yes, I got emotional several times in BioShock Infinite because, I don't know, that world was really visceral to me. And just like, the ending was awesome. There's a part in that game where you can play guitar and Elizabeth sings with you. I cried during that part. I don't even know why, but I did. So, there's that one, and the end of Halo 4 had me pretty sad because it's like, I don't know if, spoilers? I mean, the 5th game's like barely a year away at this point. So, you know, at the ending, if you know what happens, it's very sad, especially if you're a fan of the series. It's like, oh, this hurts. Because something that has been with you for the last 10 years is all of a sudden just, it's Halo 4 and BioShock Infinite. BioShock Infinite to a higher degree because it was a new experience. But Halo 4 as something that I've been with for a long time, and I did get an emotional reaction from it. What is your most anticipated game right now? My most anticipated game right now is Destiny, of course, because Bungie is amazing, and I have yet to play a Bungie game that I disliked at all. And I've played the older games. I've played Pathways into Darkness. I played Myth for a little bit. I'm not good at strategy games, so I loved Myth, but I couldn't play it because I suck at strategy games. I played Marathon. I recently got my hands on Oni, and Oni was fun as hell. So I have such tremendous faith in Bungie that anything that they make immediately is in my most anticipated list. Forget everything else, forget Titanfall, forget even Halo, as much as I love Halo. Bungie is the lifeblood of my anticipation for the video game industry. This one was a really good one because I wanted to actually address this. Forgive the spelling mistake, I copy-pasted all these questions. You're doing videos for so many years, but did not achieve much success. Wonder why you have not abandoned. You're awesome, man. So, that's a good question, because it says, basically, I know the English is a little off, but what he's saying is like, you've been doing videos for a long time, but you haven't achieved much success, so why do you keep doing it? And the answer is that I don't really do this for a living. This is a hobby, and I like doing it, and I like interacting with people, and I like making things. I get fulfillment out of making things, and I get fulfillment out of editing and exporting and having something to put out that people can watch and people can either like or dislike. It doesn't matter, as long as somebody likes it, I'm happy putting it up. And it's fun to me. So, you know, I don't do it for money. I don't get paid at all. The only money that I've ever made off of YouTube was my Bandcamp sales, and that's like, it wasn't really, that didn't even break 50 bucks. So it's like, you know, a lot of what I do is just for the enjoyment of it. I'm restructuring the channel right now into more of a video game focus because I like video games, and I've always liked video games, and I started the channel out that way. I started the channel out as a video game channel, but I didn't have the technology to actually realize what I wanted to do, and now I have that. So that's what I'm doing, and it's just like, it's just stuff that I want to do. It's stuff that's fun, and it's stuff that I like. So that's why I do it. How do you feel about the death of Fred Phelps? For those of you who don't know, Fred Phelps was the leader of the Westboro Baptist Church. And for those of you who don't know what the Westboro Baptist Church is, Google it. They picketed the funerals of soldiers, holding up signs that say God hates fags, and thank God for dead soldiers, and really despicable things like that. So he died recently. He died on the 20th, and I'm recording this on the 21st. So this will go up on Monday, obviously, but I'm recording this on Friday the 21st. He died yesterday, and, you know, there's a lot of different responses. People are saying, oh, you shouldn't celebrate his death, then you're just like him. And there are people saying, like, oh, picket his funeral, blah, 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 fuck him. And, you know, I'm kind of in the middle. On one hand, I'm of the opinion that if somebody dies, then that person is dead. And that's all that that means. Your opinion of somebody should not change based on the fact that they are no longer alive. Respect is earned through your actions, not through death. Because if respect was earned through death, guess what? Everybody would be respected. And, you know, there's just a certain degree of logic that you have to put into these situations. He was a terrible man, and when he died, I was happy. I will admit it. I was happy that he died. I had my own tiny little celebration. I listened to a lot of nice music, and I played some video games, a celebratory break, because it was nice that somebody so vehemently evil was gone. And, you know, and people say that makes you, oh, that makes you just like him. I don't think it does. I think your opinion of somebody, again, should not change. It's like, oh, that person died, oh, what a great man, even though he was a terrible man. No, that's not how it is. If you're a bad person and you die, you're still a bad person. And that's how I view it. You know, if he had done something before he died to, you know, absolve himself of all the terrible things that he's done, then, you know, I would have no problem saying, you know what, he was a bad guy, but at least he did this. But, you know, and to be fair, he was a great guy in his earlier youth. In his youth, he was a lawyer for colored people in a time where there was a lot of discrimination, and I appreciate young Fred Phelps, but he left this planet as such a despicable man, and I don't have sympathy for it. I'm sorry. And, you know, it's just like, if you want my opinion on the death of Fred Phelps, Google Christopher Hitchens' Jerry Falwell interview, where he talked exactly about this kind of stuff. So I'm trying to keep these Q&As less than 25 to 30 minutes, because I feel like they're a little bit easier to digest that way. So this is it. I'll see you guys next week. Remember, leave your questions in the comment section of this video, send them to me on Twitter, or send them to me on my Facebook page, which again can be found in the description of this video, or on the main channel. And I'll see you guys next Monday.